Hi guys, this is Chimeze with ThoughtStack. Sometimes last week, AdonisJs 4.1 was released. So I want to make a quick video covering the improvements and the changes that have been made in AdonisJs 4.1. AdonisJs 4.1 contains a bunch of bug fixes and API improvements. So let's go over each one of them. One of the biggest changes made in AdonisJs 4.1 is in the global exception handler. Now, all global exceptions can be handled inside the handle.js file. Let's create the global exception handler. This will create a new handler.js file inside app/exceptions. Though this still uses the boilerplate for AdonisJs 4.0, I believe this will be updated in the coming week. The exception handler now extends a base exception handler, so we need to pull that in. Then we will extend the base exception handler. Now, within the handle method, we can handle our exceptions however we like. Take for instance, if error.name equals section exception. That is, if there is an invalid section exception, we might decide to redirect the user to the login page. Then remember to call the handle method on the base exception class. This will allow AdonisJs to handle other exceptions that might be thrown in its default way. If you are handling this type of exceptions in the hooks.js file, you can now remove them since all exceptions will now be routed to the global exception handler. Another change made in AdonisJs 4.1 is in the route.url method, which is used to generate a fully qualified URL to a pre-registered route. Before AdonisJs 4.1, the domain name is passed as a string. Now the domain name is accepted as an object. A major improvement in AdonisJs 4.1 is done in the validator provider, which now uses the latest version of indicative. Though there are little changes to the validator provider due to the API changes done in indicative. So let's go over these changes. First, there is no concept of named formatters anymore. If we want to use a pre-existing formatter, we have to pass it as a reference instead of passing its name. For instance, previously we would do and then we'll make use of the validate method like this. Pass in the data, the rules, our custom messages. Then we'll pass in the formatter. With the improvements, this will no longer work. So we have to pass a reference to the formatter. So now we have to pass in the so now we have to pass in the ref so now we have to pass in the formatter. And pass a reference to the formatter I want to use. These changes applies to route validators also. Another improvement to the validator provider is the addition of a configure method, which can be used to define application-wide defaults. For instance, then we can make use of the config method like this. Then we'll pass in the default formatter I want to use. With this, anywhere we use the validator provider, JSON API will be used as our default formatter. The last changes made to AdonisJs 4.1 is in Lucid, and which has to do with dates. AdonisJs uses moment.js to make working with dates easy. Now, date fields will no longer be casted to moment instances on the model instance. Though this is a small breaking change, but it is required to avoid inconsistency in date formatting. This change forces us to make use of the cast dates hook to mutate dates whenever we serialize the model properties. Another improvement in AdonisJs 4.1 is that the middleware passing layer now resolves all middleware at the time of booting the app and just instantiates a new instance of them for each request, unlike earlier versions where the resolve process was done for each request. So these are the changes and improvements done in AdonisJs 4.1. Overall, there has been a handful of performance improvements in AdonisJs 4.1. That's it, guys, and thanks for watching. I will really love to hear your feedback about my videos. Please kindly drop them in the comment box below the videos. Also, if you have any questions or tutorials you would love to see next, kindly drop them in the comment box. See you guys in the next video.